For the people coming into East Hants today and seeing what our community was like, it's just like there was talent here. There's, I would say, our core players, which were 7. There was Corky Mason, center fielder, Ron Smith, Smitty, our catcher, Lorne Miller, our shortstop, Butch Horn, pitcher, first baseman, second baseman, Terry Horn, a first baseman, could play anywhere as a left-hander, didn't matter, an outfielder, Jimmy Thompson. Those guys could have played anywhere. And there was Gerald McKenzie from Elmsdale, Johnny Wentworth from Elmsdale, like I say, Huey Eisner from Lance, Gary Merv Miller from Lance at the time, you know, so there was lots of representation from the whole corridor area that played in that team.
You're going to laugh when I say this. They were similar to the old New York Yankees. They had pitching, they had a good defensive team, and they had surprise guys that, you know, could be 2 men on base, and the guy that might be batting .250 could come up and give you that big hit. And the pitching was good.
Talking with Andy Wilson, one of the guys who really looked up to was Butch Horn. The guy could really throw. When he was on his game, that fastball of his had movement right around the knees and a wicked curveball.
Butch Horn was a good pitcher, lots of stuff on the ball, good fastball, and he was also a good hitter. Which he was such a good hitter is when he didn't pitch, we'd have him in the field, so we used his bat.
Jerry Boyd, another good pitcher for us, and yeah, he carried a lot of weight for us. You know, him and Butch were probably the 2 key pitchers on our team. Jimmy Thompson, he pitched for us, and we all had our own little thing where we had our positions, but sometimes we got shifted around, and you kind of had to be versatile to go different areas of the diamond. So
one thing about Jimmy, he threw the ball so hard. When he was on with his control, nobody could hit him. But when his control wasn't there, everybody was scared of him. And I remember one game we were playing against Waverly, and there was a left-handed batter up, and he didn't have a helmet on. And fortunately, he didn't get hurt too bad, but he got hit in the head. And I was playing second base, I remember. And I got the ball on the first bounce, second base. It was a thud. Knocked him out cold. He was out for about 2 or 3 minutes. Get up, and he played the rest of the game, which I thought was pretty amazing.
I think there was a time there where Jerry Boyd struck out 21 players, 21 batters, and big headlines in the newspaper. I caught most of that game, and I could tell you I could put my hand anywhere in that strike zone, and it didn't matter if it was a curveball, fastball, knuckle curve, or whatever. It was right where it was supposed to be. Excellent control. In
center field, we had Corky Mason. He was amazing out there. He covered a lot of territory because he could run like a deer, and he made difficult catches look easy, and he had a good arm to the infield when he had to do that. So he sort of controlled the outfield where the other players would play, position themselves.
Anything in the center field, either way, left, right, he could track it down. Very seldom missed a ball. It was just so much comfort when you know that he was out there, right? Because he could, even if the ball was at the left or the right field, he could almost tell you where to position yourself to get it. Back up, go forward. He was that type of a ball player for us, yeah.
Lorne Miller was our shortstop, and he was an excellent all-around ball player. And he very seldom made an error at shortstop. He had a great arm to first base, great hands, and Lorne hit some of the longest home runs I've ever seen. Down in Sackville, a number of times he'd put the ball out on the roof of a school that was way out in left field. And I'd say the shots that he put out there were over 400 feet.
Lots of times I remember my father coming home and say, Lorne put one on the roof in Sackville on the school building, which is where the Sackville Library is today. And those would be good 400-foot home runs. And Lorne was a tall guy, lots of leverage, and if he connected, she was going a long way.
We were invited up to umpire. We did a lot of work in Halifax with the old senior league and that. And we were kind of skeptical at the time about going into another area. But once you got here, they were the nicest people, even the fans. And it was, they were great guys, and there were friendships made over the years. Even though you were the city slicker coming out, you met a lot of people that over the years that you'd run into, and oh, I remember you, and you know, did you get glasses? did you finally decide to wear glasses and things like that? But it was always fun.
We had a couple of umpires that really, you know, we're good guys, right? It was fun to sit down with them after everything was over, just to realize, you know, these guys, yeah, they called you out, whatever, but they're good guys, you know. I remember those days. Good.
It was a great time, really, in those 7 years that we were there. We won 6 out of 7 years. The only year we didn't win it was in 1965, and we went to the finals that year. We lost to Sackville.
I can remember the first game we ever played. I believe it was Beaverbank, and they were beating us. And Jack Garden said, "Come on, guys!" About the 4th inning or whatever it was. "Come on, guys! We're a better team than this." We did end up beating them, but after that, it was just more of you know, cakewalk. Can I use that expression? It was. We just kind of took off from there, and the championship was probably the best for me of all of them that we won, because it just seemed so special to win it first year in the league and, you know, beating them all, right? That was the best.
Well, a lot of reasons, I think. Number one was the coaching. Jack Garden was an excellent coach. He knew the teams that we were playing, and he knew which pitcher to use, and he knew when to pitch around the batters. He knew when to put a pinch runner in or pinch hitter. He was an all-around good coach, and went a long ways towards having a good ball team.
Corky was building a house, so he happened to come down and watch the game. I was due to come up to the plate. I had a double and a single that game, and I was ready. There's a guy on third base, I think it was Terry Horn, and I was ready to hit him in. And then my father come up to me and said, "Go sit down." He calls Corky down from the fans, and Corky comes in, hits a single, and drives in the winning run. I wasn't happy that day, but it was a good move.
We had a really nice ball field. My dad and Jack Garden in particular, and Smitty, looked after it. It was quite a ball field, and they had stands on each side. And we used to get a lot of support from the local people. I mean, in those days, there wasn't a lot of other things for people to do, and ball was tops out in that area. So we had a lot of support, and it was great. We had, like I say, we had a good atmosphere and a good bunch of players, and we had a great time together.
If you look at the people that played on that team over the years, you're seeing a lot of people that played sports in East Hants. It wasn't just baseball. There's a lot of guys played hockey, even some football, the younger guys.
Another umpire and I, we used to watch a lot of hockey, and we played some hockey in the winter months. And there was a guy by the name of Graham Eisner. And I remember the first game Graham was going to pitch. I knew him from his playing hockey. I never played against him. But I had to go out before the game, and he was out there, and just remind him, listen, remember, this is a ball game. It's not a hockey game. And we'll have a nice, comfortable game and no shenanigans or that. And he turned out to be a good friend over the years. But they were a good ball team. There was no doubt about it.
The batter hits a long fly ball to center field. Corky catches it on a run. The runner on third base tags up and starts for home. Corky fires on a laser beam to home plate. There's a one bounce. Smitty catches the ball, blocks the plate, tags the runner. There's dust flying all over the place. The umpire throws his mask off, and he looks down and he calls the guy, "You're out of there." And then we win the championship.
Well, I would say this, that it's too bad they weren't here years ago, because they probably missed some of the best minor baseball that was going on in Nova Scotia at the time. And it was a gathering spot for people. You know, don't forget, you didn't have big television shows and what they do today with their thumbs and that. And that was entertainment, and people enjoyed it. And it was something that you'd be proud to bring your children to watch a ball game in Enfield.
It just goes to show you aren't forgotten, right? Things like that, like sometimes you just think that you are forgotten, pushed aside. But it's really great to know that people like yourself do this stuff and recognize the past players that played ball or any sport, really. It's really refreshing to know that.
in general, winning the 6 out of 7 years, I think that's pretty amazing that we did, because it was very competitive, and I don't think I've got one particular memory, but a lot of memories that I really am fond of and enjoy, and will always remember, that's for sure.
2015 East Hants Sport Hall of Fame inductee, the Enfield Legionnaires baseball team.